79, oh, gets caught up in it just at the very end. The 67, though, and Nathan Stanley makes it on through free and clear. He, Paul Ferdiani, and Larry Dickerson having a drag race down in the for one last attack, getting underneath him, not quite able to make it stick, having to lift once again. Oh, into exit of turn number 4, down onto the front straightaway here. Who's going to win it with the drag race? It's going to be Timothy Pope. First 3 and 4, 751 with a hefty lead here, about a half a car length as the one gets up into the wall with a run down. 200 feet. It's going to be a close one across the line. Derek Welsh made it 3 wide on the far outside lane, picking up spots left and right here as everybody fighting for every single spot we go. Coming across the line, white flag. So here we go, final lap. Hello and welcome everybody as this playoff push here in the NTRL Xfinity series continues to roll on here on this Sunday evening. Coming down to it, only 2 races left after this one, so every point is going to matter here tonight. Who's going to be a big winner? Who's going to be a big loser? And we're just going to have to wait and find that one out. Let's get this party all started off over there with the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And welcome back. As always, big thank you to the race sponsors of JP Designs and 3D Prints, and of course as well as Davidson Builders. We thank you guys for supporting these leagues so very much. We also thank AdminBoxx jumping on board here as well all season long. Heck of a job done by them here for some great sponsorships there. Also a big thank you to TrackDogsRacing.com. Thank you guys over there for providing some great merchandise for the NTRL and AAA broadcasting, as well as Track Bar Media. Thank you guys for being out there and having a great time and putting some great videos out there. And of course, SimGearCentral.com as well. We thank you guys for your great support, and we can never forget the NTG trucking community as well. As always, I'm Alan Brown, and I am joined by the not so much longer divorced peoples of Mr. Alan English and Adam Turner. We got Alan English back up here in the booth, getting everything all squared away. And we come to one of our favorite tracks here, Alan. It's 2 miles, but man, it races. It's racing like no other track out there.
Yeah, I mean, draft matters some here, but I mean, tire wear is king here. It's super wide. You can run a couple of different lanes here, but don't get too comfortable out there trying to run 3 and 4 wide, because it gets really dangerous really quick as it narrows on down in the backstretch. It's a big track, right? So with a little bit smaller field that we have here, about, what do we have? We're going to have 18 cars grid, it looks like. So I expect that we're going to get a lot of green flag laps in here today, just because these guys are going to probably spread out some after the first few laps or so, if they don't get together and cause a restart, a caution and a restart. So I think we're in for a lot of green flag racing tonight, and you know what that means. Coming down towards the end is strategy calls. We're going to see a lot of stuff like that, like you guys saw. You and Greg saw on Friday night with the fuel mileage calls and stuff like that. So I expect to see a lot of green flag racing and some strategy that's going to really matter out there tonight.
And indeed, is down there after signing all the prenuptials and whatnot. Mr. Adam Turner down on pit road, ready as ever, as he is a champion here at Michigan in those trucks. So, Adam, I know these drivers have been leaning on you all week for any racing advice that you could give them.
Actually, nobody's called me. I mean, they should if they want to know how to win. One thing I do want to say before we start this thing, if English mocks me at any point during this race, he does any kind of shenanigans, tries to, make a fool out of me or something like that, I'm going to leave, just so you know. I'm not dealing with like Wednesday, he just mocked me the entire race. I don't know if you remember that, Brown, but yeah, that's kind of why we're in this situation right now, where I refuse to. Friday I had to take a break, and I'm glad we had Greg Klein to fill in. At least somebody competent could fill in for us. But we're going to try to work through it. English, we'll try to. If you'll compromise with me, I'll compromise with you. Well, Brown's our counselor. How about that?
He's our facilitator.
He is, but Michigan's awesome. I am a champion here. I do know quite a bit about how to run this track, and I think it's great that the turns in 3 and 4 are way different than 1 and 2, and we'll get into all that. But in the meantime, 1 fast repair, 70% fuel, 5 sets of tires, 25 incident points, you're disqualified, 18 incident points, you're penalized, and it's 119 on the track, so it's going to get slick.
That it will be, as the cars finish up their qualifying here, and we take a look at tonight's race info. Beautiful weather up in Michigan here tonight, bringing us down to that key to the race. And man, it is speed, speed, speed. We'll talk more about why speed is so important here. But first, we gotta hurry up and on down there and get ready to get this party started here, boys, as these guys get all gridded on up. Go ahead, and because I even have a camera for that. We got a grid cam, which is nice to have, as these guys kind of line up inside of that pit wall there, all staggered along, as we take a look at tonight's starting grid. 13 of Mr. Paul Durkee starting all the way up at the front, getting the pole position here. It's the 69 Larry Dickerson. It's going to start here tonight on his outside in second. The 8 of Brandon Coleman getting a pretty good starting spot here this evening, starting in third, with the 00 of Joe Bennett having a pretty good run in fourth. You got the 33 of the Gambler, Paul Ferdiani, starting here tonight in fifth, with the 03 of Dylan Mad Max Bryant starting in sixth. Seventh will be the 18 and ARCA Series champion Mr. Chris Klein starting here tonight in seventh. 751, the Silent Assassin Mike Adamson starting here in eighth. 79 of Stub Nation Timothy Stubblefield starting here tonight in ninth, with the 31 of Scott Milner rounding out your starting top 10.
Yeah, the boss man over here, Derek Welch in the one machine, Fear the Beard, He'll be starting in 11th. 12th place will be Tom Barish in the double nickel 55 machine there. Anthony Williams in the 4 will start 13th. Outside row number 7, America's driver in the 747, Albert Anderson. Joe David in the 9 car will start in 15th place. Outside row number 8 will be Mark Collins in the 23. Justin Lawson and Josh Kelleher are going to be side by side right there in the back row to start the 19 and the 73.
Yeah, there you have it. That is your official starting grid for these guys here this evening. As always, we thank you all for tuning in and watching. I know we always look forward to seeing all your names and faces out there in that YouTube land, so please join us there in chat. Continue tapping and typing away. Always glad to have you around. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button or ring that notification bell, as we do go live kind of pretty often here, and you don't want to miss any of their racing action. And if you do like it, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button.
Well, we got the chat's already populated up. Josh Kelleher is out there. Stub Nation is out there big time with Jessica Stubblefield, Jennifer Ray, Lauren Stubblefield, Rebecca Davis. Albert Anderson says the boys are reunited and it feels so good. Justin Lawson's out there saying, let's get it, Durkee, points all the way. Or I'm sorry, goats all the way. I'm sure they do want those points, though. Paul Ferdiani saying, let's go plus EV team. And, Danny Poachlog's out there saying, let's go Riverside. Not let go, but let's go. We got you, buddy.
Indeed, as this field rounds out of turn 4, the pace car trickles down and in, which means it is time to go green flag racing for the first time here tonight, with the 13 and the 69 going side by side here down into turns 1 and 2. The mad shuffle begins here at Michigan, as everybody's looking 2 wide, almost 3 wide here in some circumstances, almost up into the outside wall already for the 03 of Dylan Bryant. That 69 Larry Dickerson up on the outside, getting a great run, picking up that first place spot. The 13, Paul Durkee, immediately falling back a few spots here as the guys up at the front continued to just absolutely pounce on whatever positions that they can grab. Double O Joe Bennett moving up a couple, as well as here comes the 03 on that bottom side now, finally finding some room to maneuver. He's able to jump out in front of that 69, 3 wide behind him as the Gambler gets caught up on the outside line, up against the fence, gets passed by Double O Joe and that 13 once again as the tight squeeze happens. Oh, and there's some contact.
Trouble on backstretch.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk about how tight it gets right there in 2. We're going to rewatch that, but it really tightens up in 2, doesn't it?
Especially if you're 3 wide, it does. That is for sure. The 13 and the 69 getting all balled up here. Looks like the 13 dealing with some heavy suspension damage there. Both drivers went hard up into that outside wall, or inside wall, I should say.
Yeah, I was going to say the 69 hit that part of the wall almost perpendicular, the part that kind of slopes in towards the infield, and he smacked it straight on.
There's a little net code involved, a little bit, but it was crazy.
As we'd like to thank Mr. Ted Nugent for the chopper camera out here in his backyard as we take a look at, the 69, he knew he was getting tight, so he corrected it, making sure he didn't touch that outside wall. Problem is, it just slingshotted him back down across the track into the 13, as both the 13 and the 69. I think the 69 actually hit the wall a lot harder than the 13 did, and are able to, thankfully, eventually get those cars back rolling. Looks like the 13 just may have been in the wrong gear. Might have thought he was in reverse when he was actually in first, trying to get that thing restarted to get back around onto that racetrack.
Well, I heard a rumor, Adam, that the Nuge was actually going to be riding on the chopper tonight with the doors split open so he can maybe pop a couple hogs.
That's the only way he would do it. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was hanging out up here in Michigan. I know Michigan's his home, but I know he has a place near Waco, I think, too. So he's back and forth. Yeah, it doesn't hurt being like a famous rock star with some cash. You know, you can have
Gazillionaire, yeah.
a couple different places. But Michigan is an awesome track. I'm like the best at it. To be honest with you, I'm really good. But we didn't get into a pre-race. The tightens. It feels like it tightens up. It's like an illusion to the drivers in two, when you're coming out of two, and you're doing a lot of real racing stuff. It can get really, really tight, and I think that's what we saw there. Maybe some new tires. 3 and 4, you can kind of play with it a little bit and try to find your best line, but it's Michigan. It's going to be fun.
That it is. And of course, as always, we got some drivers out there joining us with those face cameras. So let's go ahead and kind of see who they are. One of which being that 73 machine, Mr. Josh Kelleher, joining us here this evening over there from Springfield, Mass. But now he's now in Salt Lake City out there.
Yeah.
Out in Utah. That's a pretty big move there, Josh.
That's a huge difference. What happened there? We're going to have to get the backstory on that one.
Ain't kidding us. We also are joined by the number one Numb Thumbs Gaming Machine and team captain, Mr. Derek Welsh out there, joining us down south. Out there in Alabama. We also got Mr. Double O of Joe Bennett joining us here this evening from Jacksonville, Florida.
Something about Salt Lake. I spent a lot of time out Salt Lake. It's a beautiful country out that way.
Man, you ain't kidding. I'll tell you what, there ain't nothing like driving through the dark, making a drop-off load, not knowing what's around you, and then as the sun comes up, it's just mountains and mountains and mountains everywhere.
That'd be a big surprise if you hadn't been out there before.
No, it was my first time. And then, of course, I took some pictures and sent them to my sister, and she's like, "Oh, you're over in Salt Lake. I've been there before. I've actually flown over that quite often." Because, she's an airline pilot, and I'm like, "Yeah. But were you able to open up your window and breathe this fresh air?" No, she was not.
You trumped her on that one for sure.
That I did. I immediately shut the window because it was the middle of winter. It was freezing.
One of those cities that's very, very spread out. If you've ever seen a map of Salt Lake or seen it from the air like your sister has, it's incredible how spread out Salt Lake City is.
Yeah, I've only been at the airport. It was hard to get a beer. There's like a lot of rules, and it was strange, but I managed to get one.
One out of my carry-on, I think.
Man, the pace car heads on down back into pit road, and we go back to green flag racing here with the Double O and the 03 getting things fired on up once again here up at the front, maybe hoping for a little less craziness here as I go side by side down through turns 1 and 2. That Double O, man, look at that slingshot he's getting up on that outside, but the 03, he's got the testicular fortitude there to keep his foot in it and keep pace as they continue to race side by side. You also got some action going on behind them as the 33 and the 8 continue to fight side by side. Almost some contact there between the Double O and the 03 right there in front of them, as here comes the 747 of Albert Anderson. Mike Adamson in the 751 diving on down into pit lane here. That's going to be an interesting situation here as the 747 though goes side by side with the 4 of Anthony Williams. Albert had a very strong race on Friday night over there at Las Vegas. Looked like he was going to be one of your favorites. He was kind of running away with it with the 69 of Larry Dickerson, but it just fuel strategy ended up getting him not wrecking. So he at least visited one voodoo priestess. He might need to go see another.
Now, these guys that came down the pit lane, I'm impressed that they got it back down in time, because it's not the easiest pit road to get onto. You're going from 180, 185 miles an hour, and you're trying to get it down to 55, and it's kind of a sharp turn coming out of 4 to get down there. So good job on those guys.
And it looks like Mike Adamson disconnected there, so I wonder if he's got something going on.
Something else going.
That's
He
the
joins Justin Lawson over there in the garage area.
and so racing action continues to battle side by side here with that 3 in the 0300 Joe, dropping back a couple of spots. But excuse me, that's the 8, not the 3. It's just how that paint scheme looks on the door there. Makes it look like a 3 is. That's 747. Just speaking of him, runs the fastest lap of the race, finding that speed I was hinting at a while ago as we were getting ready to get this thing all launched up. 79 Timothy Stubblefield going down underneath that 33. Paul Ferdiani trying to pick up some top 5 positions here early on in this run. 110 laps total to do here this evening, and these guys are going to be feeling every single one of them.
Yeah, the concentration and everything that you have to go through here just to, because you're battling the track as much as you're battling the other cars, aren't you, Adam? I mean, you're the guy to ask that to. You've had multiple wins here. Is that kind of what's in the back of your mind? Is you're battling the track, but you're also kind of keeping an eye on what's going on around you?
Yeah, you have to here because people kind of slinging around the track as the tires wear down. A very abrasive track. People change their lifting points. They drive, way different than they drove when they had new tires. So, yeah, it's constantly on edge, looking for the next problem that's going to come your way. Right now, we're probably in a sweet spot of the tires. They're kind of probably feeling real good about themselves here for a little bit. And next thing you know, somebody's going to make a mistake because they overestimated what's going on the tire wear. So,
Ooh, as we almost see a couple guys here kind of towards the trail end of this field almost do exactly that in turns 1 and 2. The 9, the 31, all while the 4 is down there on that inside line. We're drifting up ever so closer to that outside wall. The magnets slowly building up their energy as cars continue to kind of drift on up there. The 9 of Joe David following the 18 of Chris Klein here, who's right behind the 13 of Paul Durkee and the 69 of Larry Dickerson, taking their time now, moving back up through this field as they round turns 1 and 2 again. Oof, man. And yeah, another thing these drivers have to contend with is some of the bumps here. It's not the smoothest track out there. I know at speed, looking at it from one of these outside cameras, man, it seems like these cars are pretty steady, but boy, when I tell you, it feels like you're in the middle of an earthquake and turbulence all at the same time. It gets pretty wild out there.
Yeah, no doubt. This is not the smoothest track around, but these guys managing to do their best out there. I saw in that last lap, Joe David actually had to lift. The 18 got into the back of the 13, give him a little push. And as he came off the bumper of the 13, the 9 was going to do the same thing with the 18, but it was coming in at such a huge closing speed, he had to get out of it. Kind of hurt his momentum there.
Yeah, so one of DW looks to pass one of his friends here, the 55 double nickel of Tom Barish. Still holding on to a top 10 position for the 55, but losing that one there to D-Dub. You also got, let's see here, Joe David continuing his hustle on through, trying to pass the 23 of Mac Daddy up there on the outside lane. Same thing with Scott Milner trying to get around Josh Kelleher up on the outside.
Well, with the exception of the 2 guys that disconnected, everybody else is within 4.5 seconds of each other, so it's still pretty close.
yeah, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to see it get spread out. So I'm kind of excited to see how this will turn out with all the actual real racing here. They're not spread out like a Sunday drive. They're actually racing out there right now.
As we ride along here with that 31 Valvoline machine of Scott Milner, you saw there coming in and out of turns 3 and 4. His car getting a little tight as 73 was up underneath him there, and had to get out of the gas kind of hard there, and gave up that position to the 73. So tires already starting to come into play now as the 13 and the 18 go side by side, just up ahead of those fellas, trying to continue to make up some ground here. 15 laps done, going on to 16 now as the 8 of Brandon Coleman gets the lead away for the time being. But he and the 03 have been kind of side by side here for a good little while. Double O and the 79 is Stubblefield kind of getting stacked up behind him here. Paul Ferdiani being the gambler he's going to take his time, kind of see what cards are dealt out here before making a move, trying to shuffle his way back up through this field.
Nice. You worked in several on that one.
I did.
Good job. Papa Joe Bennett out there pulling for Double O, running around out there. Jessica Stubblefield saying, come on, Stubbs, stay up there. And Daniel of DEP Graphics out there saying, there's no rules. Just get you a beer somehow.
Wait, is he talking about when I was at the airport and
airport
Salt Lake? Well, it was a Sunday. I think I probably wanted a whiskey, to be honest with you. And it was probably... Go ahead.
Oh, 8 gets hard up into the outside wall. He's doing his best he can to keep it on up there, but that's causing a big shake-up here up at the front. The 79 is Stubblefield. Really nowhere to go. Just gets caught up behind him. The only thing he could do there was hit the brakes and hopefully get things all figured out as everybody else behind him passed underneath. But we're going to be 3 wide here as that 8 is up against the outside wall. 69, the 1, and the 79 trickling their way on through, avoiding absolute catastrophe up there at the front as these guys continue to march their way around here at this tricky track.
Close one for Stubbs. That could have been worse, but good alertness there, checking up and trying to steer out of the way, stay out of danger. Not everybody is lucky. Some scraped up race cars out there. Nothing catastrophic.
No, they figured it out, but that's tire wear, I think, now coming into play. Keep an eye on it. And I was just giving my Salt Lake diatribe there. It was like 30 years ago, probably. I'm looking for a beer in Salt Lake City at an airport, or whiskey. Maybe they changed rules. Maybe it's easier now.
I've ever tried to buy either.
Man.
That was my landing point. It was my final destination.
Albert Anderson going coast to coast over there from the wall all the way down to the apron. Thankfully, Michigan's got one of the bigger apron areas there on the backstretch, so you got plenty of time to collect it. But he was definitely starting to feel some of that pressure at the outside wall calling to him.
Now, there is some runoff area there, as we saw. Depends on where you're at on the track, as we saw the 69 and the 19 hitting the inside wall earlier.
A lot of times they'll have an incident, go down there on that apron, and the caution won't be thrown. So it's very hard to come back from something like that if you're involved in it. We do only have one fast repair here anyway. So.
Is it just one? I thought these guys had 2.
No, it's one here tonight.
Wow.
Well, snap. These boys got to keep control of their cars here this evening as the 73 looks to try to make a move back on the 9 of Joe David. It's going to get that nose up there underneath on that bottom side. Got to get a little tight coming out of the corner here. Well, Trevor's doing pretty good.
Well, we're down to 16 cars still in this race. And it's so early, it's really anybody's game.
It's up here at the front. Took a good second after getting that big checkup up against that wall a few laps ago. But Double O Joe back at it, trying to lead this charge back up around the 03 of Dylan Mad Max Bryant here. Not quite able to get the run. We're kind of getting into that situation here, boys, where you really need all the space that you can get, especially if you're trying to make that bottom line work here through these corners. And just right there, Double O couldn't keep that power down without pushing up into the 03, so he gets back in a line here for just a moment before popping on back down to that bottom line, trying to make another move.
Yeah, this track looks extremely wide at points, but you really got to be careful that you don't slide up into somebody or pinch somebody down too low, because cars are going to be moving around out there. Yahtzee.
Yeah, they tend to slide quite a bit, especially as, like I said, the tire wears. So your lifting points are going to change drastically from where they were in the start of the race. Pretty sure they're feeling it right now, Alan. I don't know if anybody wants to be overly aggressive this early. I would kind of just try to hang out. Look at Albert there. See, that was tire wear, right?
That was tire wear, making a big lunge on the 00 of Joe Bennett, but I mean, immediately getting a mega push in that car, having to check up, and ends up giving that position back. If anything, now the 69's getting a pretty good run up there on that outside lane, trying to make a move here on America's driver, almost making contact as the two brains of the operation start to meet.
Yeah. I just like 3 and 4, how you can make up a lot of ground in 3 and 4. Actually, I tend to like to use 3 and 4 at the end of the race, kind of sandbag and hold some information back. But 3 and 4, there's multiple lines you can use, and if you have enough tire, you can do all kinds of fun stuff out there. It's early, so they shouldn't be showing their hand just yet.
Sorry, boys, I had to step away for a second. I had a washing machine that was out of balance and it was making all kinds of records.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I see 03 and the 00 continue their little battle there. Looks like the 03 getting the best of them. But here's this one for you, Turner. I know you really enjoy the views that you get up there in Michigan. However, I have heard that hot air balloon rides have been canceled for the time being.
Oh yeah, because they got those shiny objects up there, the spy balloons. Didn't they shoot one over Michigan? I think it was like a balloon club's balloon they shot down with a $400,000 missile.
What a way to go!
Yeah, wasn't it like a club balloon? It was, people apparently love balloons. I don't know.
Was there a guy in a lawn chair underneath it?
No, it was just they probably had like a GoPro on it and collecting weather data.
If
local hobbyist.
If the memory card survives, that's going to be a hell of a view of an AIM-9X coming in.
Yeah, that's a $500,000 missile destroying your $18 balloon. Oh man, you got me back on the Chinese spy balloons. I gotta take a deep breath here.
You were off. You were off that topic for a bit. We got to loop it back around.
Bring it back in. Well, it's all a sham. It's a scam. So they want you to look at this and look at that while they're, doing stuff under the table. Keep you misinformed. Stuff like that. I'm not misinformed about my racing though. I do love my iRacing. This is real deal, best simulation there is as far as e-sports is what they call it.
Yeah.
Look at him, man. Klein. I'm watching Klein right now. He's having a pretty good run. I think he's saved some tires or something. He's looking pretty sharp.
Ooh,
out there.
00 getting mighty tight coming out of turn number 2 there. Snags the outside wall just a little bit, but gathers it back up, trying to make that lunge one more time at that 03 of Dylan Bryant. A couple people have already started making their move down to pit road. Scott Milner, Paul Durkee, Brandon Coleman have hit that pit lane. Now here comes America's driver Albert Anderson as 00 Joe takes the lead away from the 03 as they come back down across the line. The 69 of Larry Dickerson now trying to set something up here for the 03, but the 03 said, hey, I ain't done with you yet there, Joe. I'm going to try to maybe make something happen here through turns 1 and 2. Not quite able to make that one happen, but he's still hanging around as these guys continue to push their way around the racetrack here. Approaching a lap 30. I'm thinking, if anything, come lap 30, these guys are thinking, well, I really want the tires. I don't necessarily need the fuel quite yet, but they're getting close enough to it that I'd be thinking about tires.
Yeah, full stops all the way around, I think is what you're going to see here. Richard Gray joining us out there saying, AAA, what's up, fellas? Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Joe Bennett says, a beer and a ball. Beer and a ball.
What's that mean? Oh, having a ball? Oh, he's talking like a football or something.
Have a beer, have a ball. Probably what he means.
Oh, there are we talking some pits now.
Yeah. Ferdiani, Tom Barish making their dive on down there as well.
A couple of Joes coming down too. As in David and Bennett.
We are right there at that kind of lap 30 number here. These guys getting already down there and up onto that pit lane. Larry Dickerson finding some room to get around that 03 of Dylan Bryant, whose tires must be absolutely suffering here this evening as the 33 Paul Ferdiani comes back out of pit lane. Same thing with that 747 of Albert Anderson. And here comes that 13 of Paul Durkee. So you're seeing a whole mix of people with new tires, old tires, in and out of pits. It's getting a little hectic out there.
So, guys, let's talk about strategy for a second. If you took 4 tires of fuel every 30 laps, that's 30, 60, 90, and then ride them out to the end, you still have another set that'll be banked. These guys have 5 sets total. So if you do a 3-stop race, you still got an extra set in case you get a green-white checker or something late.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be your plan unless there's other crashes that occur. Pretty smart plan. What I don't like about it, now we're going to start spreading out a little bit. This could get a little monotonous here for a while. After, if it all cleans up, after these pit stops, we could be looking at everybody spread out. So maybe we'll have a crash or somebody come out of pit road and just smash into somebody.
It's going to look like I-49 this afternoon when I was driving home, where there's one car every 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Just a nice Sunday drive, basically. Hey, I'll take that over driving through Waco or Austin in a Sunday afternoon. Austin's the worst.
Until I got to Natchitoches, then it started picking up. The college students started getting back on the road.
Now, because we're talking about the strategy game here once again there, Mr. English, I'm looking here at the 18 of Chris Client, who's now diving on down into pit road. Mark Collins taking over the lead there up at the front. Is this a situation where if you save your fuel and you can make it to, lap 40 and make it a 2-stopper, is it worth it, or do you think the time lost on track compared to the time lost? Oh, contact between the 9 and the 23.
Figured that might happen. We might get some contact as these guys coming in and out there. I don't know if that's the reason.
I had the 9 recently pitting here to get some of those fresh rubbers, was quickly catching up to that 23 of Mark Collins, who's making his way down onto pit road now with some damage here as the 9 of David gets up into him there. Just the difference in speeds going through the corner there, I think, might have taken him out of it a little bit.
He was moving like a jet plane in a stadium full of prop jobs there, and that difference in speed will get you. Yeah, Richard, no cautions yet, bud.
We had one caution. What happened there? What's Richard talking about?
Oh, did we get a yellow on that first one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can't remember if the yellow came out or
not. Well, we had one early, and
oof, man. Do you got those carbon monoxide sensors over there where you work, English? I know.
Yeah, what's happening over there? Do I need to call 911?
That's like lap
Good
2.
point. Good point, Brown.
It kind of blended in with the beginning there.
Do we need to put him in an assisted living home or something, Brown? What do you think? Somebody could watch over him all the time.
Jeez, if we're putting him in assisted living, where are we putting you? I mean, he ain't that old.
Well, mentally, he's kind of rough, rough around edges.
Elder law, yeah, right.
Oh, so you're saying, Brown, you're trying to start it with me, too. Just stick to 2 old guys in the home, give them an iRacing rig, they can microphone, they can have their ice cream and do the race.
It's medication time. I can't wait till Nurse Ratchet comes around.
Oh God, don't start with that. That scares me. Oh man, that's pretty funny, Brandy. You
Well,
got me on that one.
you got nothing to worry about here. If Michelob's out there, he ain't worried about none of that stuff.
That's true.
He's got
That's true.
a few hundred years on you.
Yeah, that's true. If Michelob's not in the home, then we're good, English.
Oh yeah, we got loads of time.
I gotta go. Yahtzee.
It's the 8 of Brandon Coleman tries to fight back against the 73 Josh Kelleher, but Josh Kelleher carrying a little bit more speed. The 55 Tom Barish making a off-cycle pit stop here. That's interesting, different. Don't know what's going on down there.
And we're going to see a couple of guys just mix it up just to, try to make something different happen at the end. It may swing in their favor. It may not. But some guys opting to do something a little bit different here. You talked about Chris Klein earlier in the driver of the 18. Coming off a big championship win on Friday. How much does confidence play into how you run this race tonight? We know it's a different series, different car, platform altogether. But how much does his confidence right now help him today if he's still riding on cloud 9?
Oh man, you gotta imagine it's a big deal, especially it was a tough race over there at Vegas, caution free the entire way. I mean, that's 120 laps of brutality over there. And, anytime you can walk away there, he had a podium finish. He didn't necessarily win the race. He was in a pretty good position. He could almost do it, but walking away knowing that, in a full season. That you end up being the top driver for that season, man. It's you got to be feeling pretty good about your skills there, and not necessarily get your head all too ballooned up to kind of continue that little chat, but at least give you the confidence that, hey man, I got the skills to pay some of these bills. I can make my way around here, as he's trying to maybe take a look around the outside of that 79 of Timothy Stubblefield out here. It's Papa Joe Bennett saying, no balloon.
Don't want to see no balloons. I'm with you there. Yeah, sir. I'm sorry I couldn't have been here Friday. We had a little out-of-town trip that was supposed to happen a few weeks ago, but got postponed. And so I couldn't be here Friday. I'm glad that Greg Klein able to fill in. He's always great in the booth, of course, and glad to be back here tonight for the Sunday night Xfinity race.
Yeah, that indeed. I'm always happy to have y'all back here, and I know we had a real fun time out there with Greg out, but just not quite the same. For example, I ran out of water about 30 laps to go. Couldn't step away to go refill that one, but talk about getting a refill here is the 03 of Dylan coming back up through, trying to make the pass on the 747 of Albert Anderson here. Albert getting some of those lead laps, as I know Turner was a little worried about some spreading out going on, but this top 5, they ain't spread out.
That's good. At least somebody's fighting out there. Look at Albert Anderson, America's driver, up 12, really battling it out with Dylan Bryant, but now looks like Dickerson's trying to make the pass.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about some fresh rubbers on those rims. Ooh, oh, goodness.
Close. If they had rearview mirrors sticking out, they would have clipped.
It would turn into that Miata video that's made its rounds on YouTube a time or two, where one of the drivers, noticed that the what do you call it, the side view mirror there on one of his competitor's car was folded in, so that his competitor couldn't see anything down that side. Had to actually turn his head, so he just told him to, hey, come on over while they're on the straightaway, and he fixed it for him.
That was neighborly.
Yeah, especially in those those spec cars. Everybody's paying for their own stuff. They don't want to get into a wreck or have some damage or anything like that for something silly. So I'll help you out there, buddy.
Guess they can reach out the window that far. I mean, it's not like these cars where you're kind of moved away from the door a little ways.
Well, I'm glad everybody's joining us on the FaceTime and all this stuff and the Zuckerberg channel we have here. Hit the button, like, subscribe, because there's people out there that try to sabotage us. I don't know if y'all know that. Have you heard this story?
No.
Yeah, so Brown and we first started this, and there was this fellow that tried to sabotage one of our broadcasting things. We just started. We didn't know what we were doing, but it was we got a good connection early with the viewers, I think. And a guy, we had everybody gives the thumbs up in this, but this clown decides to give us a thumbs down. Then he had his clown friend give us another thumbs down. We have 2 thumbs downs, I think, total in our history. And it was from this event. They tried to sabotage, didn't they, Brown? But we're still here. We're still having fun. Hit those buttons.
We're almost up to 300 subscribers. We got 295. So
well, I'll quit if we don't have them by Friday.
Oh,
I will. I'm not gonna. I need more viewers. I can't be just. We need the masses. We need people to come join us. This is a lot of fun stuff. If we had to fight somebody ourselves, we'll come down there and fight them. Anderson is having trouble there out of 2. He's getting past my 00 right now. Wonder what's going on with his car.
Joe Bennett made it look easy there, and Albert must have some issues there. Maybe a tire wear issue. It looks like he's lifting a little bit more than a couple of the other guys out there.
I mean, his tires are... it's not much difference there, but he had pitted on lap 28 compared to 30, 31, and 32 for some of these guys up there at the front. So it could be starting to feel the burn a little bit here as we approach lap 50 of this 110 lap race. Tom Bear's still down there on pit road. Hope everything's all right there with the double nickel. You also got the 18 of Chris Klein continuing his charge back up through this field. Trying to make a move here on the 1 of DW. Looks like he's going to get that pass done, at least for the time being. Maybe launched it a little too hard into the turn. And here comes the 1 of DW with a little bit of crossover. Maybe trying to get that spot back. Nah, he's going to trickle right back up in a line there with that 18.
Crossover is always fun to watch, because you're seeing this guy struggle, and then the next thing you know, he just throws it down to the inside line and swings back around with a little do-si-do. Good crossover move.
You see a lot of crossovers here, especially in 3 and 4. It just the track lends itself to almost a little dirt tracking out there, the way they run and the way the tire wear happens.
Fun to watch Indy cars run and do the same thing. They're so draft dependent. They're so aero dependent.
Don't you have to drink tea and crumpets to watch an IndyCar race? Isn't that how that works?
No, absolutely not.
No? I thought that was for the fancy people.
No, that's F1, not IndyCar.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
It's for the fancy people.
Which F1 had a pretty good opening weekend here this weekend. That was a fun race going on earlier today.
Were they at Dubai or somewhere?
Yeah, something like that. Their opening weekend used to be out there in Australia, but they changed it.
Why would they do that? Why does everybody want to change everything?
NASCAR. Well, let's just change it around.
Let's get rid of California. Let's do this. Or
destroy the traditions and make it unpredictable. And
let's put a racetrack at a football field and just like the tiny football field. Let's do that. Clowns.
What's this Richard talking about? Did we hug and make up?
No, we didn't. We didn't hug. I wouldn't give that guy a hug. No, Richard. We have a compromise now. We have a pact. He knows that I will walk away at any time if he angers me again.
What angered you the first time? Do you even remember what it was?
You were mocking me.
About what?
Everything I said, you said something like, "Well, tell the
why don't you give the folks an example?
Yeah, no, I don't want to give the folks an example. Oh man, don't start with me.
The 9 of Joe David maybe feeling the damage a little too much here. Ends up dropping on down into pit road to get some of that fixed on up as Larry Dickerson grabs control of this race up here at the front. The 03 of Dylan Bryant trickling in right behind him. Double O Joe of Joe Bennett up there, still up in that top 3. The 747 Albert Anderson still up 10 spots, hanging on in 4th there. The 33 of the Gambler Paul Ferdiani still hanging around here inside of this top 5, but we're starting to kind of get into that zone where things are kind of spaced out just a little bit.
The great thing is we've seen several different lead cars here, and guys have been up and down through the field a couple of times as a consequence of these pit stops. It's been fun to watch, nevertheless, even though it is spread out some at the moment.
Michigan's always fun. We're gonna see something crazy happen at some point. I truly believe that.
And 20.
Joe David, go ahead, bud.
I was going to say 23 of Mac Daddy. Mark Collins hunting down that 79 of Timothy Stubblefield here, trying to sneak his way up onto a top 10 position right now.
Looks like Joe David on a little bit better tires there is going to be able to. Is he going to stay on? He's going to stay. Actually, he's going to stay 1 lap down now. He was 2 laps down, but now he's in front of the leader.
Yeah, I think
he's going to be 1 lap down. He's going to be in line for the lucky dog there, Alan.
I think he saw that the leaders were catching him pretty quick there. As we're also getting pretty close to the end of this run. Lap 54. Pretty much right here at halfway. Pit stop's going to be happening here within the next 6 or so laps as well. So you figured, I might as well just come down, take the lap down, just stay out of everybody's way. But I will have fresh tires and I'll be able to maybe try to make up a little bit of time out here as the 23 was able to get that move done. Speaking of coming down into the pits, here comes that 8. Brandon Coleman trickling on down and in, getting his second pit stop done.
I was about to ask the question, would it really be worth just trying to short pit 4 or 5 laps just to get a little bit of separation between yourself and the rest of the field in case you get a caution as a result of people pitting during the lap 60 or wherever they're going to come in?
And I'd say that's a interesting question. I think you want to get and have the freshest tires whenever available, and especially later on in these runs, and I think that's one of those situations where you just kind of have to play it by ear. As the 33 Paul Ferdiani coming in hot down there onto pit lane. 73 Josh Kelleher now catching up to that number 1 Derek Welch machine here, going side by side.
I haven't seen a pit lane violation yet.
Well, of course, now you're going to see about 10 of them because he said something.
These guys have been pretty good about getting down to 55 because that's where you got to be here at Michigan.
You have a little bit of time here. It's not the easiest, but it's not the hardest pit lane to get into.
Well, and the guys that are going to make track position are going to be the guys that nail the pit entry exactly where they need to be and then stop right on top of their box.
Yeah, Timothy Stubblefield, another one of those guys coming on down and into pit lane. And, of course, Stub Nation strong out there. Jessica Stubblefield, St. Turner. I got some merchandise items there for the Titans in my Amazon cart for you.
What? No. We're not doing this tonight. The Texas Super Bowl is on right now. The Houston...
Jessica, I'll give you his address.
No. The Houston Roughnecks and the San Antonio Brahmas are on the XFL right now. I mean, that's a real name, the Roughnecks. We had a real name.
Well, the Brahmas used to be their hockey team years ago, I think. Before
it still is.
Is it still the Brahmas?
Yeah.
Well, be. But here's the thing. They stole everything. They stole it. And it was a shame. It's a disgrace. Bud Adams took it all away from Houston. And someday Nashville will pay for that. They're going to give us those colors back,
Nashville will pay.
and they're going to give us the colors, baby blue, and the name back. They're holding the name. It's hostage.
It's a gambler
Disgusting.
splitting it 3 wide there between the 4 and the 747. Trying to make that move here on Albert Anderson. Both drivers on some of those. No, Anderson hasn't come down to pit for a second time yet, so you can kind of see there the difference in speed, especially heading on down through these corners here as this rest of this field continues to trickle on down into pit road. Derek Welsh on his way in. Scott Milner in the 31 machine on his way back out. Still waiting on Dickerson, Bryant, Bennett, and Anderson, as well as Klein and Kelleher and Collins. So still about half the field yet to pit as everybody just trying to plot and plan their way here through this race as we reach lap 60 out of 110. So I expect essentially somewhere between now and lap 64, everybody will have all their pit stops done.
Man.
If Jessica was to send a PM to the AAA Broadcasting Facebook page, because I don't know if Turner has access to that. So
No,
I think
what are
we
you
could
talking
reply
about?
I'll just try to talk about a way to get her.
I
your
don't need
address.
it. If she's got something from that says Houston Oilers on it with the real colors, then yeah, I'm down. Ooh, there's a lot of differences happening out here on tire wear.
Yeah, 33 and 03 there.
Yeah, that was kind of fun to watch. But no, I don't. The Titans, that's a made up name, made up team. They just gave it to them. Huh? Yeah.
They're all
What is
made
it?
up.
What's a Titan anyway, though? I mean, what is that?
What is a Titan? It's a giant.
So they got giants.
Mythology?
They got giants in Tennessee all of a sudden when they stole
I
the
don't know
team.
I don't know why it has to do anything with Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the 03 of Dylan Mad Max Bryant trickles down onto pit road here, making his second stop of the race. And I mean, haven't you ever heard Lefty Lucy, Righty Titan?
Righty, yeah. Jessica said you can still get a bunch of Oilers memorabilia down there where they live at.
Well, I bet you
A bunch
can.
of fan faithful. They know where they didn't forget the roots, man. You
Oh,
gotta give it to them.
They
You gotta
stole
give it to
the
them.
roots. They stole the roots. What a con.
Yes.
Richard might be right.
Hey, what is he talking about?
Turner seems to be whining a lot tonight. He says, "Are you okay, bro?"
Richard,
You're
I'll
gonna
have a
get yours after
conversation.
the race. There,
I'll have a conversation with you at some other point. Man, they're hard on me tonight, everybody.
You're gonna beat him with his own walker.
I'm gonna walk away from this thing.
18 of Kurtz Klein
Bills away from
makes his way back here to the front alongside 23. Well, I can't say alongside, but the 23 Mark Collins up there as well, waiting on these final couple of guys to make their pit stop here. Looks like the 18 on his way in right now. Let's see here. That will mean the 23 and Mark Collins. Mac Daddy picking up some lead lap bonus points here once again.
Good job on Mac to keep on pressing out there. As you see the 69 blending back in right there, Larry Dickerson. Yeah, Richard, you got to be careful, man. Adam Turner's going to steal the tennis balls off the bottom of your walker so you slip and fall. He's mean.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I would too. I would do that, or like slice them. You know how you can cut somebody's tires. Be careful, Richard. Man, you're getting me sidetracked here. I'm trying to watch the race, and now I'm getting angry.
He's going to mess with the antenna at the home so you can't watch Wheel of Fortune.
No, that would be
a
a disaster.
I was gonna say.
National tragedy.
That'd be terrible. as the 23 of Mark Collins does make it down onto pit road safely. So, pit cycle officially underway here at Michigan. Lap 65 out of 110 is where we are at. And we will be right back here as we take a quick break to say a big thank you to some of our sponsors out there that did a great job of making some promos and whatnot. So sit back, relax, enjoy the ride here, as when we come back, we'll have the final pit stops and a few laps of racing action remaining here from this NTRL Xfinity race, coming at you live from Michigan. Back live here with the 747, the 03, and the 69 making up your top three as of right now. Double O Joe Bennett hunting down that 747 of America's driver here on lap 73 out of 110. These drivers quickly closing on into that final 30 laps here tonight. Larry Dickerson found a way to get around that 03 of Dylan Bryant to take control of this race. The 18 of Chris Klein trying to find his way back up to the one of DW, who, by the way, still might be stewing a little bit over the Kleining action that happened there on Friday night. But so far, these guys have been racing pretty cordial around each other here, just like the 18 making the move on the one, but the one immediately looking back, maybe a crossover. No, he's not going to try for it.
So these guys that love the technical tracks and managing tire wear, this is really their last chance to get a great finish, as the next 2 weeks, the rest of the season, in fact, is plate track, pack race and stuff that, is very, very unpredictable. So if you're one of those guys that's right at these technical courses and tire management and stuff, this is really kind of your last chance, isn't it?
Yeah, the next two, what do we got? Daytona and Talladega.
Talladega, yeah.
That's, roll the dice like you're in Waco, Papa Joe's on a Saturday night. That's all it is. Anybody can win. Some people are actually good at those, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a giant piece of luck involved at the plate track. So this is your last kind of chance to do it as a driver. You have to be very skilled to win here. I know, because I'm a winner here. You have to be skilled. Oh, nothing, huh?
No, I was just trying.
No retort.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, but nothing came to mind, because winning is serious business here, and you're the best. I mean,
thank you. Was that a shade, like a mockery, or
shade? What do you mean?
Like a shade? Did you just throw shade at me?
Like sarcasm?
Yeah. Did you throw some?
Is that what it means? No.
I felt
out of all the people I've ever watched run at Michigan, your victories were the most surprising. So, I mean, that's a good thing.
So when I heard shade, I was thinking of the thing that goes over a lamp. I'm like, what? That's a pretty good toss if you're hitting turn around.
Y'all don't talk about shade, throwing shade at people. Y'all ain't heard that? It's a thing, man. You got to keep in contact.
I didn't know what it meant. Yeah.
Oh, man, up here in New England, man, it's the wintertime. We don't have no sunlight.
That's true.
I work with a bunch of young people. I don't understand what they're saying at any point in time.
Well, you got to. All I can interpret for you. I'm sure they're telling you you're stupid in a roundabout way.
Probably.
With their OMGs and their, all the words they've shortened.
I know what that means.
Well, I'm just giving an example, but they shorten all these words. It's like, instead of situation, they say situation. Like they don't like.
You.
Yeah, like they don't want to say the extra syllables. Apparently, they're lazy.
Well, some people say OMG, but if you say "oh my gosh," it's the same number of syllables. You're not
That's what I'm saying. But I know, but like when you shorten a word, like they want to go to instead of saying Starbucks, they say Starbs.
What?
So what's wrong? What's wrong with these people?
Totes.
I don't know.
Goats. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Exactly. Oh Lord.
It's got a good little three-way battle here between the 18, the 1, and the 33. Brewing on up here. It's 18 slices and dices away around. Ooh, the one of DW almost gets up into that outside wall right there in front of the gambler, Paul Ferdiani. Double O Joe Bennett still trying to work that back bumper of Albert Anderson up there for third place right now as well. The 13 of Paul Durkee trying to hunt down that 73 of Josh Kelleher.
Richard says, hey, Turner, that was shady as hell. Let me tell you something there, Richard. There's no two other guys I'd be working with here on a Sunday night. I guarantee you that. I think
but
a good thing going.
We do, but we have to sometimes take a break because we get angry at each other. I think it was a good break Friday. Thank goodness Brown. We had Greg Klein to fill in. Thank God for him. Glad you had some help Friday.
And Klein has a wealth of not just NASCAR but racing knowledge in general. He's truly a great asset to have in our back pocket when either one of us can't make it or two of us can't make it. He's the go-to guy to fill in up here. I'm glad he was here Friday.
I agree wholeheartedly. He's way smarter at the racing part than I am. I know that. And I've raced with him before. I know how vicious he is too on the racetrack.
Yeah, he doesn't pull punches.
Yeah.
Sure, got a couple of guys getting pretty close out there on the track. Not a whole heck of a lot of close racing out there going on. See the 4, Anthony Williams, a couple laps down. He kind of pulling down towards the apron area to let a couple of guys around. 73 goes around lap car with Joe David, putting him. Well, he's been put 2 laps down. They're kind of going back and forth right here.
Man, but don't
Still got 13 cars on the lead lap there, Alan.
Man, we still do have a battle for the race lead here as the 03 Dylan Bryant makes a move to take that lead back away from the 69 of Larry Dickerson as we're approaching kind of that about 10 more laps here, and we're going to be seeing our final pit stops, the money stops of the race here this evening. Who's going to maybe risk not putting that extra can of fuel in and doing all of that? I mean, these guys, they're having to use that Graffin TI-86, that we always talk about here, trying to figure out some of the math. But deciding to maybe split this stage up a little differently. Here comes Chris Klein, DW, Josh Kelleher, Milner, Mark Collins, all making the early dive down pit road.
Well, with 110 laps, they know they can probably make it here. With green-white checkers, that's going to throw a wrench in it if they do get that. But I think these guys are betting on this race finishing green as the 03 and the 69 still going back and forth here. Oh, the 03 looking low on the tri-oval.
Are they hurting themselves right here just by battling so hard? Or is this fine right now because they're going to need tires anyway?
They're both going to have to stop anyhow. They're 5 seconds ahead of anybody else, 5.5 seconds ahead of the nearest car, which is Albert Anderson. So I think they're just out there being competitors right now. They're not giving up.
Well, I'm thinking about quitting my job. Brown, what do you think about what's our insurance package going to look like at AAA Broadcasting? Do you think we're going to have a nice 401k available?
Absolutely not.
It'd be more like a
Brandon Coleman,
4.01k.
Black Flag, pit road.
Not when you want to be making those mistakes here this late in the run, trying to make a comeback here back through this field, but that penalty is going to cost him as the 00 Joe and 747 of Albert Anderson make their way back down onto pit road here. Brandon Coleman kind of stuck in some traffic right now. I'm thinking he's trying to get back down onto pit road, but he's got the 23 and Mark Collins sitting right there. Oh, side by side, some door contact.
Yeah, he can make a couple of laps out there before they DQ him. He's got
goodness gracious.
Serve it under green. Go ahead, bud.
As he got a big launch there to get back around the 23 machine, scrapes the outside wall, launches right back down in front of him. I thought we were going to have ourselves some contact and some extra cautions, but here goes the 8 of Coleman down onto pit road as pretty much everyone in this field coming on down for their final pit stops here as Larry Dickerson and Dylan Bryant stay on out. The 31 Scott Milner kind of separating these two guys here, playing blocker, not on purpose, just kind of where he kind of trickled out of the pit lane here. And The 03 is going to have to battle him outside. It looks like it's going to be the 31 moving up through the inside, getting his lap back here on the 69. If he can get it to stick, not quite able to, so maybe not comfortable on that fresh set of tires just yet as the 31.
Well, you talked about these guys trying to estimate how much fuel to put in their car to finish out the race. There are tools out there to put in your toolbox. Free stuff like what's the Crew Chief app? I think that's what it's called.
6.9 in the 03 was some incident there, and the 03 is going to get the better end of that one as the 69 also scrapes the outside wall. So Dylan Bryant, the leapfrogs back up here to the lead. The one in the 18 fighting hard here, going side by side. They're catching back on up to these leaders, trying to get their lap back the hard way here.
03 calling out his pit here. Anderson caught up to him in a hurry here. Double O Joe Bennett around him on the outside like he's standing still.
And that's those new tires here, but now the 03 and the 69 pitting together. That's gonna be interesting here later on in this run, especially with that kind of tire differential. They're gonna have about 6 or 7 laps fresher tires than the rest of these guys out there, so they can maybe push it a little bit harder for just a little bit longer here as they make their way down onto pit road. The question is, will the 747 Albert Anderson come back down across the line before those guys come out of those pits?
It's a huge risk, man. They were so far behind when they pitted in. I'm not sure how it's going to work out for these guys. It's like Anderson crossing the start-finish line now. These other guys just leaving the pits. Let's see where they blend. It looks like Anderson's got them both easily.
And same thing with Double O Joe Bennett here, but again, the tire differential is going to make that huge difference here as this field rumbles on, closing in on the final 20 laps to go here this evening. The 03 and the 69 doesn't look like any penalties down there for them on pit road, so this should be a pretty exciting fight here towards the end.
Got 20 laps with newer tires. There's plenty of time, I think. I don't know what you think about it, Adam. That's 40 miles. If those guys are going to be able to push it just a little bit harder than Anderson and Bennett.
Yeah, it'll come down to some of that, but man, it depends if we have a caution or something crazy. What I do like with Albert tonight, I think we've seen him get in a lot of incidents recently that weren't really his. He just keeps getting caught up in everything. At least the stuff that we watch. He's had a really nice race tonight, and hope it works out for him. Up 13, so that's pretty good.
Joe Bennett's racing his butt off here tonight. He's right on Anderson here last few laps. Now Anderson's coming up on some lap traffic. Like, is this Milner right here at 31? He's having to check up just slightly here. Bennett's stuck on him like glue.
Yeah, he really is. Joe Bennett's
like stank on cheese bait.
He's like one of those drivers that we watched for a while, and is very improved. I think just gets better every week, and he is right on Albert's back bumper. So might see him try to make a move here in a second.
These guys are running out of time. Oh, Milner side by side with the 03.
Oops, excuse me. I dropped my phone doing some side stuff. And then snow falls off my roof as I can hear it falling over. But the 33 of Paul Ferdiani trying to get around the 18 of Chris Klein here late. Less than 20 laps remaining as these guys shuffle and bustle. Everything getting all tied back on up here. Up at the front to make things interesting here. Once again, the one of DW still hanging around inside that top 5, as well as Dickerson, Bennett, Bryant, Anderson, but Klein and Ferdiani still up there as well. About a 3-second now, 4-second gap between DW and Dickerson up there by that fight. Oh, the 33 of Ferdiani hard up into the outside wall. Almost collects the 18 to Klein with him.
Dylan Bryant just passed the 00. He's working on Anderson now. It looks like he's going to take that position as well without much effort here. Good call on that, Brown, with the tire situation.
Yeah, he's just that much faster. Those guys are good here. Him and Dickerson. Super fast tonight.
Yeah, Jessica Stubblefield said, did you say snow? Yeah, he's got tons of snow sliding off his roof. It was 80 degrees here today.
Oh, it's beautiful. It was like a nice 78
That's crazy.
here.
The differences, a few degrees of latitude.
Well, you don't have to shovel your driveway or anything like that, Brown. It's just leftover snow. Or...
Yeah, just leftover snow. So when the race started, it was 32 degrees. It's now 36. We're actually starting to warm up a little bit here. So 69 and the 747 go side by side just a little bit. You also got Double O Joe maybe trying to feed some of that run as well, but not quite able to get it to stick. So he's going to stay there, stuck behind Albert for the time. The time being. Albert up 11 spots so far, which is going to be your hard charger of the day as of right now. Really, the only other person that's kind of in some running for that is that 73, Josh Kelleher, but hey, he's kind of out there in no man's land right now.
I'm just looking here. Do we know that the 03 and the 69 are good on fuel? Is that correct?
Yeah, they're good to go.
They're good on fuel, and their tires are doing this well. And as long as they don't plateau it too soon, and kind of even up with the other guys' tire wear.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the battle.
The people to beat. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to battle each other out. They've been to class of the field all night. Josh Kelleher's up 9. Mark Collins is up 6. We need to start looking around, maybe seeing what other fun battles are out there, because these two are just tearing into each other. That's the thing. They're getting past. They're passing Stubblefield right now. Rutabaga.
Stubbs, that number 79, that green and black and white machine. He is just now in a lap down.
Oh, man, hard up into the outside wall right in front of Dickerson as he was trying to make a run there. So that magnet up there at the exit of turn number 2 starting to get turned back on up to high here as the 79 machine gets some pretty heavy outside damage here. The 747 and the 00 are going to try to trickle on by him here.
Yeah, that was rough. I was watching another car, and I saw the smoke. Didn't realize it was tires, sidewalls against the wall smoke, but oh man, that was rough. Yeah, they're running around him pretty good now. Well, Dylan with a solid second on Dickerson. Those two guys with, obviously, like we said, much newer tires, got 3 seconds on Albert Anderson and 4 seconds on Joe Bennett. So that's a tall hill to climb if we stay green here for 12 more laps.
And it is, as a 13 of Paul Durkee finds his way around that number 1 of DW here. It's trying to move up some more positions, try to get up there into that top 5. But Double O Joe still hanging on to that back bumper with good old Albert there. Still got a little race going on.
Yeah, he didn't give up on him. I mean, those two guys kind of drafting together and stuff on the back stretch, and they're helping one another out as much as they can, I believe, before they really start fighting each other. Turner yells rutabaga. It makes me want to search for new recipes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some good ones out there if you Google
learn
that.
How to use that particular food. Is it I guess it's a vegetable.
Well, I'm not quite sure what it is, to be honest with you.
What color is it?
It's whatever color you want it to be. Currently brown.
Picture one. Because you pulled it out of the dirt.
Well, because it's made out of whiskey.
Oh, I got you. Code word. I see we're using code.
Yeah, sometimes I got to throw some special things out there for you.
Sure, yeah.
If you're not picking it up, then that's fine. Well, I'll slow it down for you if I have to.
Come on.
You are down there in Louisiana.
I feel attacked. That's what they say now, right?
Yeah. Are you
Are you
triggered?
talking to me? Are you talking to me? Now it's, I feel attacked.
Yeah, I like it better the old way where you just ended it up in fisticuffs.
I'm going to bust a beer bottle over somebody's head.
No, we don't need to use a weapon. We'll just have a good old-fashioned fist fight. Nobody here's fist fighting tonight. This is kind of... It's kind of...
Laid back almost.
Yeah, that's a good term. Laid back, yes.
Sure.
We'll see if Larry has anything for Dylan, in the next 10 laps.
It's still got about a second to make up there, so a lot of space, a lot of time. We don't mention it a lot here, but you also got to remember that there is a draft factor here at Michigan, which is why at the start of this race and whenever we had a caution, things kind of remained pretty tight. These guys were able to draft up alongside of each other, but right now with that about 1 second gap, Larry really doesn't have that much assistance to him here. He's just having to use the good old horsepower method to catch back on up to the 03.
Well, and how about these guys that are laps down like Anthony Williams in that 4 machine? He's out there running, just maybe trying to make up a few attrition positions. He's not giving up. He's 5 laps down. Probably going to be stuck in that position unless something happens. So get on him for not quitting and sticking with it. Oh, he just got in a wall, too, right there beside the one of Derek Welch. Goodness, I'm going to stop calling people out. Every time I say somebody,
Well, you're bad luck. That's no big deal. He's still scraping the wall. Come down, too. A little bit. It's all good. Maybe we could have one of those NASCAR crashes, the old fake one at the end. Get us a green-white checker. That's what happens in NASCAR.
I like it when they used to race back to the yellow. That was kind of fun to watch. Pretty damn dangerous, though.
Yeah.
Well, the one wiggling all over the place. He's got a couple of guys right on his back bumper. He's about to lose a couple of positions, I believe. Well, at least one to the 73. The 9 is a lap down.
73, Josh Kelleher making up some top 10 spots here, moving his way on up into 8th, inching ever so close to being one of those hard chargers here. So the one might be getting tired. He's another one of those old men out there.
Oh, Lord.
What?
He's going to be jumping in the broadcaster chat. Where'd y'all call me old?
Ooh.
Oh, Kelleher in the wall hard.
Could have caused an incident, but did not. The Riverside Park Speedway. Something about New England. Is this a New England track?
I don't know.
Quite sure.
I never heard it.
That's
It's on his trunk.
I thought that was down south somewhere.
It said something about New England's on the deck lid there. I might have to use that Googler, the old fancy Google machine.
Riverside, isn't that where Dale Earnhardt Sr. got out and wiped the oil off his windshield himself? It was like sitting on the bottom of the...
I thought it was Riverside Strangler.
I don't know.
That's where I thought Seinfeld. That's where that guy who was murdering everybody came from. It was a Riverside Strangler.
Oh, okay.
They tried to pin it on Kramer.
Okay, that was in California.
Well, we do have a comment from Jessica.
Yeah, they can't all be barn burners. Sometimes you just gotta watch these, see the points implications and stuff like that. But here, the last few laps, you might see a little bit more aggression here. But yeah, with the field spread out as much as it is, it's not exactly all edge of your seat action here tonight. But these guys are doing the best they can out there. They sure appreciate you watching, anyhow.
Yeah, at least you're here watching with us. Thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure. Not having to do a lot of shots tonight for cautions.
Oh no, nothing. It is Lent season anyway, so.
I cleaned my trap out of the dryer today before I threw
It's a different Lent.
Oh, different one.
It's not that one.
Oh, I got you. That's what they do south of Alexandria. There's a bunch of people down there that do Lent.
As the 03 Dylan Bryant comes back down across the line, 2 laps now remain here as we close in on the final flags of this race coming to a close. As he makes his way down that back straightaway here. Just a reminder, once when we take that white flag, no more cautions here this evening. That will be the final lap. Albert Anderson trying to find some extra room here as well to close off this race here on a podium as the 03 comes back down across the line. A white flag is being waved. Nobody to see in that rear view mirror here for that 03 as he runs away from that 69 of Larry Dickerson, rounding out of turns 1 and 2, just keeping it calm under the pressure here, making sure he doesn't make no silly mistakes. Now is the 31 Scott Milner looking like he's going to try to take on Timothy Stubblefield here, battling for 11th as they make their way back across the line here on this final lap, as the 03 of Mad Max Dylan Bryant comes out of turn number 4 and picks up this playoff win here tonight at Michigan. Larry Dickerson will follow there in second, with Albert Anderson walking away here with third. Scott Milner and Stubblefield battling to the line. This is a barn burner here for 11th, and it's going to be Stubbs fighting on back here, holding on to that position.
Job by these guys racing out there tonight, racing the racetrack, and then having to deal with each other just a little bit. But I think your guys that are sitting up here on the podium did their best racing the racetrack. Wow,
Stubblefield just hit the wall on purpose. Kind of fun.
Call the ambulance.
Yeah, what was going on there? Stubblefield just frustrated with the race. He tried to murder himself and into the wall. Turned his car over. It's got to be. It's a long race.
A ghost image of him with angel wings coming up out of it, like on Bugs Bunny,
Yeah, those were the. Can you remember those days? Why did we have crazy cartoons like that?
I don't know.
It didn't. I wasn't triggered or anything. I turned out to be okay. I think you did.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed this.
Those are probably banned right now. Bugs Bunny and Scooby Doo. Like they got to make a softer version now.
There's a lot of violence. Yosemite Sam's probably got to, they got to take his guns away, probably. Look at the 03.
They did take his guns away.
Donuts.
They did take his guns away.
I don't surprise me.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
The 03 Pepsi machine, Dylan Bryant out there with the win tonight. I know he's super excited about that. Albert Anderson, of course, pulling up third. 69, Larry Dickerson. In that, was it LA Builders? On the hood of that machine.
Yeah. Now we're counting him a podium. That's good for him.
Derek Welch is telling us on the chat. He says, y'all need to rewind and watch that epic finish between me and Mark. Mark Collins, I think is what he means to say.
Y'all weren't even on the same lap.
No. They weren't, huh?
No, they weren't. Either way,
they were both a lap now.
I'm sorry. I'm showing that DW completed 110. Mark Collins completed 109.
iRacing has it scored different, but we'll let that go.
Either way, let's go ahead and talk to some of these drivers up here that finished up on this podium. Starting with tonight's third place finisher, America's driver. Very, just kind of starting to figure out that whole voodoo magic here, Albert. I know you had a really good run on Friday evening. Just strategy was just kind of one of those things that kind of took you out of that one. But here tonight, you battled hard. You had Double O Joe, you had the 69 of Dickerson there around you, and you had yourself a pretty dang good race there.
Yeah, more importantly, it was clean, so I was able to get a good finish. But yeah, congratulations to Dylan. I mean, he was just lights out fast the whole night. Him and Larry Dickerson. I had absolutely nothing for him. It was everything I could do to hold Joe Bennett off there at the end, and good job for him too. But yeah, those guys were just ridiculously fast tonight.
Yeah, and a little bit different pit strategy and all that. Them guys pitted just a little bit shorter than y'all did. And just had a little bit fresher tires there towards the end. I guess you didn't sacrifice enough chickens or something, when you was trying to get the voodoo off of you. But hey, man, at least you finished this thing without getting taken out. Third place probably looks pretty sweet compared to some of the recent finishes that you've had.
Yeah, I am not complaining one bit. I still got a clean race car at the end of the race. It was a good point tonight for me, put it on a podium, and I'm happy. It was a good night.
Yeah, you're up 11 compared to what's been happening to you. We've noticed. You just keep getting into all these problems out there. They keep collecting you and everything. You're running out of talent. America's driver's not running out of talent. It's running into you. But tonight, you finished third, so back on the podium. Good to talk to you. Next week we have Talladega, then we're gonna have the Daytona, then we're gonna have the championship at Dega. So I know you like that plate track racing. Good luck to you there, and you have some shout outs.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to shout out Alan and Adam for getting back together. I prayed every night, down on my knees next to the bed. Lord, please bring these two men back together. America just ain't right without them. And apparently it worked. So I'm happy to see you guys kissing made up and back in the booth. And
nice. That's nice of you to do.
It
worked. It did work.
I'm glad they were telling tales and made it sound like we was in an argument or something.
Yeah, I know. But it's good to see you guys back, and just and anybody and everybody who supports me, my friends, family, even other iRacers in different leagues, and I get a lot of support in iRacing, and it's awesome. Derek Welch, DEP Graphics. Derek puts on a good show here. He does a really good job, and you guys in the booth, and congratulations to Dylan on the win, and congratulations to Larry Dickerson for second place.
Well, awesome job done out there. Mr. America's driver, Albert Anderson, your hard charger of the race here this evening, up 11 spots. A well-earned podium spot indeed, Albert. Congratulations there, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
As Timothy Stubblefield saying that his interview with ESPN 8 The Ocho needs to happen after his visit to the care center there, infield care center.
That's an old message, I think. I saw a hearse rolling down there towards that care center. The chopper's fired up, but I think they're shutting it down just to save some fuel because it ain't really worth the flight.
Indeed. Well, we'll move on up to tonight's second place finisher, Mr. Larry Dickerson, after having a great race as well on Friday evening, just kind of taken away from him a little bit from some strategy-wise, but a good finish here this evening. It definitely looked like it was going to come down to you and Dylan here tonight, Larry, and that's exactly what happened. You guys kind of took away from the field and really put in the hard work that's needed here at this hard track at Michigan.
Yeah, it's just hard pill to swallow right now. I feel like I dominated that race. I'm not trying to brag, but kind of had the best car all night, and that, I don't know, it's just the car hadn't gotten tight all night coming to that last green flag pit stop, and for some reason it got tight, and I barely brushed the wall, and I think it did only 10 seconds of damage, but it hurt my aerodynamics, and it's just, I couldn't, when I came up behind Dylan, I can keep up with him, but the aerodynamics over the long run it hurt me. And like I said, it's just a hard pill to swallow right now because after Friday's race went, after I dominated that's not 2 races in a row, I feel like I should have walked away with the checker flag.
Well, keep your head up. It was damn good points race for you here. It wasn't a win, but it's pretty damn good for you in the points. Next couple of races you got here, a couple of pack races. We got a lot of mixed feelings about restrictor plate pack racing in this league. That's really what this league kind of started out as. But you got Daytona coming up, and then the season finishing out at Talladega. How do you feel about the pack races, and you have any kind of strategy going into it?
I don't have a strategy because you know with restrictor plate races is really hit and miss, and with those races you don't have to be the fastest to win. You just got, I feel like, be there at the end on the last lap. If you ain't caught up in a wreck or ain't getting no damage, just be there at the end in the main pack, and I feel like you can win because I haven't had the best luck at those tracks. I did get one win in ARCA a couple weeks ago at Talladega, but that was kind of by luck. I made my move and they all started wrecking, and I cleared the wreck and made the right move coming to the checker. But yeah, I don't have no strategy. I'm just gonna go into those last 2 races and go by ear, and we'll go by feel in the race. And because I'm not part of the playoffs, I'm just trying to run these races for fun and help my teammate Dylan out because I know he's fighting for the championship. I know it was big for him to get that win tonight. Like I said, it stings because, like I said, I feel like 2 races in a row I've let slip through my fingers, and I really wish I could have him back.
Well, I wouldn't be that mad about it. You're sitting there on the podium. Just remember that. Good job tonight. I think you did great.
Thank
you
you.
got 2 more weeks to kind of show out here. We'll see. Do you have any shout outs? Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Derek and all the league sponsors. To me, this is the biggest league there is on iRacing. Great group of guys. Like I said, I know a couple weeks ago I made a couple of them mad, and I've been trying to race a little bit cleaner, but still trying to be aggressive because that's just my driving style. So, shout out to everybody who comes out and run these races. Another great race tonight. Other than that, lap 2 wreck with me and Paul. It was a really good, clean race, and I want to apologize to Paul on that. I didn't know he was underneath me, and when he hit, I guess he hit the bump going in on the bottom of 1 and 2. It kind of shut me up, and when I turned away to make sure I didn't hit the wall coming off 2, I got loose and came down and caught his front bumper. And so I want to apologize for him for that. I felt bad about that. Like I said, shout out to the league sponsors. Shout out to y'all guys for y'all's break broadcasting. Again, I don't see nobody doing it any better than what y'all guys do. Y'all are the best, in my opinion, on broadcasting these races. Shout out to my sponsors, JP Designs. I'm gonna be unveiling a new paint scheme I'm gonna run next week, so I can't wait to show that off. Shout out to LA Construction, or Boulevard's Construction Company out of Roxborough, North Carolina. He's on the East Coast, needs housework done. Check him out. He'll do you great. He's a great guy. And my biggest sponsor, the reason I do these races, Angel Messenger Foundation, raise awareness for that. Like I said, I've got family with autism, all different kinds of form of autism, and having that sponsor is very big for me. Like I said, hits home. So any way I can raise awareness for that, go check that organization out. It's a great organization, and anything you can do to help them out will be awesome. So shout out to them, and shout out to my wife. Shout out to shout out to everybody who watches the broadcast also. And I go back to watch the broadcast every time. Just watch the comments. I'm still waiting. I got a nickname. I'm hoping I can get some fans commenting. My nickname's Milk Dust. Hopefully I can get a Stub Nation. I can have a Milk Dust Nation going on in the comments soon. But yeah, great race, and shout out, give a congrats to Dylan on the win.
You had a pretty good run there yourself here this evening there, Larry, in that 69 machine. Having a great race and finishing up on that podium, man. Congratulations. We see you guys back out in here in action once again next week, man. Good luck.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
We'll move on up one more position here to tonight's race winner. It'll be the 03 of Mr. Mad Max himself, Dylan Bryant, walking away with a win. Finding some late speed there, Dylan, able to try to pull away from Larry just a little bit there to give yourself a little bit of some of that extra cushion, and that's exactly what you did as you had a pretty good and relatively dominant performance here tonight.
Yeah, I really wouldn't call it late speed. Larry had like 16 seconds of damage, and I guess it just made his car as tight as my car was the entire night. Especially in 3 and 4, I couldn't do nothing. It wouldn't rotate until like probably the 3/4 mark around 3 and 4, and God, man, I just lost a lot of speed on the front straight away. I feel bad that my teammate got into the wall. I got into the back of him, and I had to use my fast repair, but he used his up, I think, on lap 2. So it was a dominating race as far as Dirty Donkey Racing is concerned, but I might have led the most laps, but that was definitely Larry's show.
It was a great team effort, and I mean, to finish like y'all did up in front, really says a lot for your team there. The Dylan Bryant Sim Racing Toyota. Have folks look you up on Facebook, Dylan Bryant Sim Racing. I know you're working on getting some more content up and all that, but if it's anything like what we saw tonight out of you, I guarantee you're gonna get some followers here, and I hope you do well with it and everything. But talk a little bit about the next couple of races. We got Daytona and Talladega on down the line here. Not exactly technical tracks where you got to worry about tires and racing lines and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of a race of survival, if you will, on both of those weeks. How are your feelings on all that?
Well, leading up to this point here, I would say for Super Speedway Series, I had almost a perfect season. This is my 6th win, and I've been leading a lot of the points and stuff up until now. But the last 2, it's a chess game, and I'm decent at chess, but you never know what the other person's going to do. I told Larry at the start of the race to and I was like, look, man, I need as much points as possible going into Daytona and Dega, because you could be first place on the last lap going out of turn 4, and then you finish 15th. So it's going to be a stressful few weeks. So because my eyes are set on the championship, I will give it 120% effort to win it, and tonight kind of set the stage. It's basically the points that you got with everybody. It's the points that you're gonna have to go into Daytona with, and it's anybody's game. So,
well, you set yourself up perfectly tonight. Great win. Next week it's gonna be a gamble, but you can do it. Who would you like to give some shout outs to?
First and foremost, Derek, all the admins with NTRL. They do a great job. All the sponsors, NTG Trucking, Trap Bar Media, AdminBoxx, DB, Davidson Builders, Sim Gear, AAA, man, y'all do hands down the best job of anyone. I love getting on podiums and having a conversation with y'all's guys, and y'all should be seeing a lot more of me with the Gen cars and ARCA cars, because my schedule at work changes next week. So I will get to run every race with NTRL. So
All right.
so I'm pumped up about that. So I ain't gonna be full time. So hopefully I get some more wins in the bank, and I suck at the new gen cars, so that should be a learning curve. And a huge shout out to Larry. He had a tough break on Friday night as far as the field mileage, and kind of gave away a championship, which Chris got it, which he's very well deserving of that. So I want to give him a shout out also to Chris in the ARCA series and stuff. And I want to give a shout out to Albert, the America's driver. He got a podium with us. It's always a pleasure sharing the top three with him. And that's about it, guys. I'll be seeing y'all at Daytona.
Awesome, man. Well, we cannot wait for that Daytona race, man. A lot to celebrate over there in that Bryant household, especially the big win here for that 03. Congratulations, Dylan. We'll see you guys out here again next week.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. I am a man of the people, and I don't normally cave, though. But we will go back and look at this final lap between DW and Mark Collins here. We'll take a look here as they're just taking the white flag. This is the final lap, making his break down the back straightaway.
Why did we cave into the people now? I thought we had standards, community standards.
Some of the fans wanted to see it too, I guess, because DW played it up so much. So let's go ahead and see.
Right. He is the boss.
Coming through turns.
Yeah, that's true.
3 and 4.
All right. I'm watching.
And I think there was the white flag. Might have went back one extra spot or one extra lap.
I wonder which view is the best to watch this from. But
I'm just watching.
There's no telling.
I'm just watching DW here, making his way back down on that back straightaway here once again.
There's that white. What happened there?
Yeah, must have went back one too many laps, but. DW going about 6 miles an hour. Here comes.
Oh, Lord.
I understand when I'm looking at
the
here.
23. They're stopping.
What kind of finish is that? What a bunch of horse hockey.
I'm beating and banging. Oh, the 23 gets turnt.
All right. That's the last time we caved to the people. I thought we were going to see something there. Saw a low speed spin. Pit maneuvered at 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's the race from here this evening, coming at you from Michigan. I know we had a pretty good time. It got a little interesting there, kind of in the middle and a little bit towards the end. I know some people were having their hands full with some battles out there, but Michigan, it's a tricky track, man. It looks simple, but it certainly ain't.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit different next couple of weeks. So hold on to your butts for the next couple. They're going to be very, very interesting as we go pack racing for a couple of weeks. And anything can happen, Adam. We love that kind of racing, though. I'm telling you, that's what we kind of live for here.
Well, I know you're really good at it, but I'm just going to hold on to my butt here and wait for it because I'm excited. I do love it. I think you and I enjoyed riding the back and just see what happens. It was kind of my strategy. But
Arca break and take the field out. And I love doing that.
Yeah, stuff like that. But tonight, Michigan is fun. I like Michigan. Tonight was a ho-hum race, let's put it that way. But the two guys up front did a great job. They were class of the field. So let's do it next week.
And that we shall, as we take a look at tonight's final finishing order. The 03 of Dylan Bryant picking up the big win here this evening. The 69 Larry Dickerson Just a little short, but a solid second place finish there for him. 747, America's driver, Albert Anderson, your hard charger of the day, up 11 to take home a third place. Great run there for those top three. The double O with Joe Bennett, he was up there as well. He wasn't no slouch here this evening, finishing there in fourth. The 18, Chris Klein, riding on that confidence from being the ARCA Series champion, able to get a top 5 finish here this evening. Great run there from him. 13, Paul Durkee, wishes he could have that first couple laps back here as he got caught up in some trouble and lost some spots, but fought back for a 6th place finish. The 33, Paul Ferdiani, finding his way into a top 10 here, as well as the Gambler finishes in 7th. 73, Josh Kelleher finds himself up 10 positions on the day to finish here in 8th, as the one bogus machine, that was bogus DW, is able to find a top 10 finish here as well, finishing in 9th, with Mac Daddy and Mark Collins in the 23 machine rounding out your final top 10.
Yeah, the 79 of Stubbs let us know on Facebook chat over there. He says if he didn't get caught up in that big checkup, he'd be up in the front of this race here at the end, but he'll end up finishing a lap down. Started in 9th, finishing in 11th place. Better luck next week there, Tim. Scott Milner in the 31, also 1 lap down. He'll finish in 12th position. Brandon Coleman in the 8th, started inside row number 2. He'll finish the last car on, or 1 lap down, I should say, in 13th place. 14th will go to Joe David in the 9 machine. Stayed out there as long as he could, and a couple of laps down, but didn't quit. And good on Joe. Same thing with Anthony Williams out there, finishing 5 laps down. Was just hoping to get a couple of attrition positions there at the end, but stuck with it. He'll round up your top 15. Double nickel of Tom Barish out early. He had a lot of damage, I think, after his fast repair. And Mike Adamson, I believe he had something he had to go do, but starting park, almost a starting park. He got 6 laps in or so. The Silent Assassin will finish 17th. And Justin Lawson, he did grid a car, but disconnected soon after. So the 19th up on the trailer early, and that rounds out your field, boys.
Give me 1 second. As we close out the action here for this evening, we thank you all for tuning in and watching. As always, you guys are the reason why we do this and have such good time doing it. So please be sure, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, so that way you get alerted every single time we go live as we get closer and closer to that fantastic 300 subscriber mark. Well, thank you guys so much, and if you like the videos, be sure to hit that thumbs up as well. We also have to thank the great sponsors of JP Designs and 3D Prints, as well as Davidson Builders over there. We thank you guys for doing a great job with these sponsorships, and of course, big thank you to AdminBoxx out there as well, jumping on board here for the season. You guys are fantastic and awesome. We also have to thank SimGearCentral.com. Thank you guys for your great sponsorship. TrackDogsRacing.com on board here with the NTRL and AAA Broadcasting as a premier merchandising supplier. Thank you, TrackDogsRacing.com. Thank you, Track Bar Media, as well, with some fantastic promos and other videos that you guys do. So be sure to go check out Track Bar Media as well. And of course, a big thank you to the Numb Thumbs Gaming trucking community out there as well, giving us some fantastic support. So that does it for us here from the forests of Michigan. We'll see you all on Tuesday night. And I know English is probably saying, what do you mean Tuesday night? Well, that is because we got a race to cover over there at Texas Motor Speedway with the Numb Thumbs Racing League Truck Series. We're just filling in just for the 1 week. I know some of y'all just like the, you guys really like the Color Boys Racing TV that they got going on, but had some previous commitments, so he's got to take the night off. So we'll be filling in for him there on Tuesday. I believe everything starts around the same time there, but that one will be brought to you by the team of the GOATs and the 180 at Texas Motor Speedway. So we cannot wait to see these guys out there in action here on Tuesday night in this truck series. But until Tuesday night, I'm Alan Brown for Alan English and Adam Turner. We're signing off.
We gone.
See ya.